It's 5:30 a.m. Monday morning. It's time to get back on that saddle and get after it. All right, I'm out here. It's a beautiful Monday morning. Today was a rough start. Wasn't as easy to get up, but good it wasn't easy, because now I'm gonna get it even more. And part of my weaker mind wanted to say, you know what, let's just take it easy today and just push 5 miles, and that's a lot. But since I went there, I'm gonna tack on 2 more, so I'm gonna get 7 in. And then I'm looking forward to that brutal day Wednesday when I gotta hit that parking structure 10 times. So I'm gonna get it in. I'm gonna get it in right now, and hope you get it in too. I'll check back in. Yeah, I'm out here pushing, and out here for about a half hour. And got me thinking about weakness and strength of the flesh and the spirit. But I say weakness and strength. We all have both. We all have both. We all are made of both. We're both flesh and spirit. We're both weakness and strength. And I equate it to the, well, it's like I feel you have to constantly tear yourself apart. Split yourself into 2 people. Weakness always wants to attach itself to you and become one with you, so that you can't see it. You can't call it out for what it is. I equated with the weakness like you know, the comic book, or well, for everybody that watched pretty much the movie, Spider-Man. Spider-Man's enemy was Venom. And this Venom came from outer space and attached itself to Eddie Brock. And as soon as it attached itself, it felt good for the moment. Eddie Brock, you know, was still himself. He still had control of himself, but he felt good. He felt the benefits of this Venom. But the longer, and he can also take the Venom off and go back to Eddie Brock. But the longer the Venom stuck to him, it started becoming attached to him. And the Venom didn't want to let go of him. It held on, and it was pretty soon he couldn't distinguish Eddie Brock from Venom, because they were one. And, you know, the only way that they would, well, in the comic book, the Venom didn't like bells. So if you would, that's the only way to separate the Venom from him, was through bells. But that's like weakness. You know, that little bit of, not even weakness, the weaker part of yourself. Because like I said, you're 2 people. You're both flesh and spirit. You're both, you know, white dog, black dog. And that's not talking about race or anything. I mean, it's even the yin and yang. You know what I mean? The white and the yin and yang is order, and the black is chaos. We both are both, but which dog are you feeding more? Which dog are you paying more attention to? Because like I said, just like Venom in Spider-Man, the weaker you wants to attach itself to you so that you can't even see it. And the more it's a part of you, the more when you do weak stuff, you don't even notice it no more. When you slack on doing something, or you quit, or you give up, it doesn't even bother you no more. Because all these weak moves, it's just a part of you. The venom is attached itself to you and it's become one with you. That's you gotta constantly find those bells to separate yourself, because when you separate yourself, then it's easy to see your weaker self and you can call it out. You'd be like, oh, there you were, Gabriel. That was pretty weak. That was pretty. I mean, it just instinctively you could see it. Oh man, that was a weak move, man. That was, you're slacking. You're getting that quitting mentality or that lazy mentality or not, or I mean. But you have to separate yourself. You have to tear yourself apart. How does a muscle grow? A muscle grows from tearing. You have to tear the muscle to grow it. You know what I mean? So you have to critique yourself. Critique yourself right. And if you critique yourself right, that's how you stay sharp. You know what I mean? But yeah, let me get back at it and focus. I'll check back in. All right, still at it. But another idea that I thought of, that I was thinking of, is when I talk about suffering, or how you have to, suffer to grow. You have to tear the muscle to build it. You know what I mean? But there's a difference, because, I mean, people suffer all over the world. People are suffering. And suffering itself is not, I mean, I don't know, it depends on the individual, of course. But there's a difference between suffering that you're forced into by circumstance or choices, and there's a difference between choosing to suffer. And by choosing, there's something about it. And I you know what I mean? Suffering, I mean, people cringe, and that's not the word that they want to hear. I don't mean, berate yourself and just, but nah, you have to suffer. You have to do something that you don't want to do. Hey, how's it going? You have to put yourself through the fire or the ice. The Bible says, you come out as, how do you purify gold? Through fire. Come out the fire as gold. So there's something to it. And the difference is like, for example, people that have drug and alcohol addictions, and then, they do something they shouldn't, and then they get sent off to jail. And they go, yeah, well, the benefit right here is that I can get sober. And they go to jail and they kick, and they go through it, and they get sober. And then when they get out of jail, they stay sober for a little bit, but then they go back to getting high or drunk, or they go back. And not always, of course. You know what I mean? There's always exceptions and people that know and use that as a benefit and to stay sober. But a lot of times, you'll see, they go off and they come back out, and then they get back into the drugs and alcohol. That's because they suffered. They suffered, but it wasn't self-suffering. It wasn't a choice to suffer. It wasn't a choice out here that you made on your own conscience, that you're just gonna lock yourself in a room and go through the shakes and go through it by choosing to. That person is more inclined not to fall back, because they're gonna remember. They're gonna remember what they chose to go through, and they know, and that's a tool, because even if they fall, they know what they have to do again. I fell many times trying to quit, doing drugs. But locking myself up, I know, all right, Gabriel, now you know what you got to do. You got to go back and you got to suffer some more. You got to choose to suffer. Because by being forced into the situation, you may not get as much out of it. But, yeah, it was just a quick idea out here as I'm getting it on. This dog keeps running around. I got to take her inside so I can really hit round 2. But, yeah, check back. I'm thinking about another mistake people make when they start doing better in life. They get blessed. They get a better job, a nicer house, nicer car. But they're just put in a better spot. It's just nature to think, all right, well, now I get to take it easy. And I think that's the crucial time when you need to even push harder. I'm not saying don't enjoy the fruits of your labor. I'm not saying don't take a vacation. I'm not saying don't. You got to be balance. But you can't just because things get better doesn't mean it's time to kick your feet up. If anything, things get better, that means you can handle more weight. So take on a bigger burden. Take on a bigger load. When your muscles get stronger, you don't drop the weight lower. You don't say, hey, I just won a bodybuilding contest, so I think I'm going to start working out with 5-pound dumbbells. I've arrived. I've made it. No. You always look for the next mark, the next challenge. This life is never ending. I mean, it is ending when we die, but until then, it's never ending. I mean, tomorrow is still there until the last day would. That's the thing. I look at it, man. My last day on this earth has already been predetermined by God the day I was born. Okay. And once you have that instilled in your mind, you can let go of the fear of that day, because it's not up to you. You could. Fear is a magnet, man. As soon as you start to fear, I mean, it only attracts more fear. And you can't just stop fearing. You can't. It's like a void. You can't just stop fearing, because then there's a void, and fear would slip right back in that void, and you'll start being afraid again. You have to replace that fear with faith. And if you have faith, then you have a foundation to stand on. And when you have a foundation, it's easier to let go of the fears. And the stronger your faith, the less you'll fear. The stronger you believe in something, the less you're inclined to be afraid, because you have a foundation. And as long as God knows that day, God knows the day that when will be my last day. So I'm not going to stress over that right now. I'm not going to stress over that. I'm just going to stress on, okay, well, while I'm here, I've wasted a lot of time, wasted a lot of years. So I got some catching up to do. And I'm sure if you think about it and critique yourself right, you've wasted a lot of years too. Maybe not as many as me, or maybe fewer than me, or maybe more. Only you know you. But if you don't look your life and look yourself with the magnifying glass, you ain't gonna be able to tear yourself apart to rebuild yourself back up, to be like the $6 million man and build you faster and stronger. So critique yourself, man. Search your own soul. Find out who you are and who you want to be, and then set out to become that with the first step, with the first push. Keep pushing. Just keep pushing. All right. Just knocked it out. Got my 7 miles. And man, I'm telling you, when you don't feel like doing it, when you feel lazy, when you feel tired, the answer isn't rest. Not always, not most of the time. The answer is go out and just go get at it, and through getting at it, you'll get energy. Let me show you for any doubters. Let me see. Can you see my phone? Got 7.2 miles. Took me 3 hours today. It was a slow day. I got stopped twice, and I try not to be rude. And I'm like, oh man, I hate just stopping and talking. I want to keep pushing, so I'll talk, 10 minutes, and I'm like, all right, I gotta get back at it. But yeah, just keep pushing. Keep your focus. Set a mark and go after it.